20 great but forgotten movies of the 2000s. The 00s were a decade full of silly trends, soft music, pink dresses, baggy pants, and great movies. While the rest of the art seemed to be on the wane, theaters were filled with electrifying films from young directors and movie giants. It's been a decade since India has been widely released on the big screen, so there's no shortage of innovative filmmaking. Here are 20 titles you might have missed. 1 of 20. Amelie 2001. This French-language film is like a hot cup of coffee served with a freshly baked croissant. It's soul-warming to watch Amelie Audrey Toto help those in need and take on a saintly role as she strives to make the world a better place. If he can do it in Paris, he can do it anywhere. And he continues to do it in living rooms everywhere. 2 of 20. Sideways 2004. Sideways follows a sad sack who desperately needs to get into the sack, but is far more interested in tasting wine. In Alexander Payne's low-budget triumph, we watch as Paul Giamatti slowly opens up to the world around him, creating a fragrant glass of wine that gets better with every sip. 3 out of 20. The Prestige 2006. Let me show you a magic trick, a Christopher Nolan movie that many people haven't seen. The Prestige came out long before The Dark Knight and Inception, which meant that many people missed the mystery of dueling wizards. Starring Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale, they will keep you guessing until the final reveal. 4 out of 20. Tropical Thunder 2008. Why aren't people talking about Thunder Tropic anymore? The groundbreaking comedy may have pushed some boundaries, but the war comedy remains as explosive as the jungle in which it takes place. 5 out of 20. 25th Hour 2002. Spike Lee is known for his textiles of black culture in America, but this one is different from the prolific director. Examining our country after the attack on the Twin Towers, this drama about a drug dealer enjoying his last days before prison is actually about a country whose climate was changing drastically. It's a far-fetched allegory, but one Lee manages to pull off. 6 out of 20. Before Dusk 2004. The comforting feeling of the previous trilogy. While the previous entry was a bit of a downer, the latter is a leisurely stroll through Paris. As the two lovers take a walk down memory lane, they talk about their chance encounter in Vienna and maybe even talk about their future. There's not much more to it than that, but that's exactly what makes these movies so interesting. 7 out of 20. Best of Show 2000. Dog shows aren't all that exciting in real life, but the characters in Christopher Guest's fictional movie treat them like gladiatorial combat. As they gather for an annual showdown, they scratch their claws at some of the subgenre's funniest moments. 8 out of 20. Adaptation 2002. Nicolas Cage plays Nicolas Cage, who plays Nicolas Cage in a movie about Nicolas Cage. In other words, he is a friend, disguised as a person and playing the role of another person. In Charlie Kaufman's genius screenplay, the line between reality and fiction is blurred like an icy window. 9 out of 20. In the Mood for Love 2000. Many fans know this one by heart, but the rest of the public doesn't know the difference between Wong Kar-wai and Wendy. The director is a master of melodrama and turns hopeless romances into beautiful, painful poems. His most accessible is the story of two neighbors who fall in love despite obstacles. 10 out of 20. Vacation 2006. I don't care what anyone says, it's a great movie. Not only do the relationships feel real, but the whole atmosphere feels like a warm sweater on a sunny snow day. You can almost hug this rom-com about two women who go into business at home for Christmas because they happen to find the perfect match for their respective holidays. There are many versions of this movie that are unpleasant, but then again, Nancy Meyers didn't direct them. 11 of 20. Michael Clayton 2007. Maybe it's just me, but I think conspiracy thrillers are some of the most entertaining movies around. Mixing tension, horror, commentary, and character study, Michael Clayton sees a man George Clooney embroiled in a case that reaches its climax. 12 out of 20. Step Brothers 2008. Perhaps there is no more quotable comedy than this. Many jokes are constantly being made, most of which are about the half-brothers who have just moved in together. This is not forgotten by the younger generation, but it should be seen by the older generation as well. 13 of 20. Children of Men 2006. Since the release of this film, Alfonso Cuarón has gained a huge following thanks in large part to his technical prowess as a filmmaker. How many disaster movies have you seen that felt awkward or low quality? Cuarón is like an art photo on a blockbuster scale. His story of a world where babies are no longer born has spawned a new generation of apocalyptic imagery. Have actual style. 14 of 20. Fantastic Mr. Fox 2009. It was a little too witty for children, a little too childish for adults. But now Wes Anderson's animation plays perfectly for both. 15 of 20. Donnie Darko 2001. A plane crash, a giant bunny, a sleepy town and a delusional teenager. These are the elements that make up one of the strangest movies we've ever seen. Donnie Darko is a cult classic whose mysteries only increase with increased viewings. 16 of 20. In Bruges 2008. The 2000s were filled with gems from up-and-coming filmmakers who were inspired by the indie boom. The theaters were packed with names like Martin McDonagh, who would go on to become a household name with titles like Three Billboards and The Banshees of Inisherin, but was just finding his footing in the 00s. His greatest achievement remains In Bruges, a hilarious tragedy about hitmen stuck in, well, Bruges. 17 of 20. The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants 2005. The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants has lost none of its magic since its release. Even if it's lost some of its hype, it remains a comforting tale of friendship that everyone can enjoy. 18 of 20. Russian Ark 2002. This art house picture about Russian history is so mesmerizing, we have to recommend it. It's a film that unfolds in a single take. And not like other films, which use editing to make it look like a single take. The result is truly spectacular. A stroll through the halls of history that rarely gets old. 19 of 20. Paprika 2006. A dream within a dream within a dream. What is this? Inception? Nope, it's the movie that inspired Nolan to make Inception. Paprika is the acid counterpart to Nolan's chilly blockbuster. 20 out of 20. Ponyo 2008. Did someone ask for one of the best animated movies ever made? 'Cause we got one right here. Hayao Miyazaki's story of a fish becoming a human is a truly spellbinding adventure. You've seen this story before, but never with this much style. It's a truly great movie.